All right. Okay. So this particular academic year, we are following a bit of a different procedure on how to, submit the progress review. So we have 10 progress reviews that we have scheduled. So for each progress review, you have to submit two things. One is the copy of your engineering notebook and the evaluation by the supervisor, which the supervisor will sign and check what is check and sign. Okay. So progress review is basically work done between two progress review meetings. So when you now in this progress review, from the time you got the topic, up to the point of submitting the proposal, towards the proposal what you have done right now, which should be basically understanding the problem, like the first step of the engineering design, right? Problem specification, and then researching the problem. So basically you have to understand the topic and understand the problem, and then do a literature survey and submit the literature survey. Literature survey means not a collection of papers. That is not a literature survey. Papers ටිකක එකතුවක් නෙමෙයි, right? Literature survey is you going through what has been done regarding the problem up to now in the research community, in the scientific and technology community. What are the solutions available, and what are the shortcomings and the advantages and disadvantages of the solutions, and how your project is going to solve the remaining part of the problem. So දැන්ට තියෙන problem එකේ solve කරලා තියෙන්නේ මොනවද, solve කරලා නැත්තේ මොනවද, ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ topic එකෙන් solve කරන්න යන්නේ මොනවද කියන එක you have to analyze it. You have to check what has been solved, what has not been solved, and what are you going to solve. And to do that, you have to go through the entire literatures, I mean a lot of papers and articles, patents, or whatever that is available. And you have to look at what are the solutions available and do a sort of a, we say, compare and contrasting of a solution, right, with others and with what you are going to solve and your objectives. And basically you are justifying your project. Why is it worth doing the project? මේ project එක කරන එකේ තේරුම මොකක්ද කියන එක understand කරගන්න ඕනේ, right? Hopefully I am clear about this. මේක තේරෙන්නේ නැති, any questions here on what should be done, right? Now there were some questions regarding the engineering notebook. Now how do we as the supervisor know that you did this? Now, most of the time students will come and say, sir, mama paper 5ක් කියුවා, or paper 2ක් කියුවා, paper 3ක් කියුවා, I have read. So we can't take your word for it, right? When you say I have read 2 papers or 5 papers or 10 papers, we can't take your word for it and say, okay, good. No, if you have read in when there was no this digital technology, how supervisors checked us, you had to print the paper or photocopy a paper, and then you have to make notes on the paper, highlight, make notes. That's evidence that you have gone through the paper, right? Paper එක print out එකක් අරගෙන highlight කරලා underline කරලා මේ ඒ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන තැන් mark කරලා ඔයාගේ මේ අදහස් එකේ ලියලා එයාට කියනවා annotate කරනවා කියලා. Paper, you annotate a paper with questions, comments, and highlight and underline, which is evidence that you have gone through the paper. Similarly, now you can do that with online reference managers, right? So you don't have to print the paper. I will show you an online reference manager which is free, and that is called Mendeley, right? So if you go to Mendeley, so Mendeley, you can make your own account. So I made my account, and I have also installed to my Google Chrome what is called the Mendeley web importer. So this is a Google Chrome extension which you can install into your Google Chrome. Now, when you install it to Chrome, you can say download Chrome and install to Chrome. When you install to Chrome, you get this icon here, right? And then the Mendeley, your account will have something called a library, right? So in the library, when you go to the library, it will list all your papers. Most of my papers are there on projects that I'm working. Now, you can make what is called a group here. Now, this is a group that I made with one of my current students. And then you can add papers to this group. How you add papers is if you to add papers, you have to find papers, right? So how are you going to find papers? So finding papers, the number one site is Google Scholar. You should know this site by heart. It's scholar.google.com. You go to Scholar. And then you type in your keywords, not your entire topic, but your keywords. So in this case, I can type what we call machine learning alloy, and this particular alloy, this is in some material project that we are that one of the students are doing with me this year. So machine learning alloy Al, Mg, and Mn. So this is aluminum, magnesium, and manganese. So to these keywords, I have put double quotations, meaning that these keywords should be there. Otherwise, don't list papers that are not there. You can also go and click here and go to the advanced search. If you go to the advanced search, you can say with all of the words, with the exact phrase, with at least one of the words, without words. So you can specify, right? Also, you can select the in here, you can select anytime or custom range. So article range, you can select from which year to which year, right? So these can be done. And then you have these papers coming up, right? So if you go and look at this, now if the PDF is available, there is the PDF link comes up here, right? The summary translate one will not come. That's another extension that I have installed, which is Monica. Right. So this extension you might not have, but if you want, you can. But sometimes this summary comes, sometimes it does not. So you can summarize this if you have this extension and see if the PDF is available, AI generated summary comes up here. But you can't copy paste that. That is just for you to see whether the article, you can see whether that article is relevant or not. But I don't think this will work now. Okay, so I'm not going to do that, but you don't have to do any of that. You just go to this article. Now you can go to the article by clicking the PDF, it goes there. And then you have to basically read the article. So you have to read this article and understand what has been done. So the article is there. Now from the web importer, if the article is good, you can import this article. You click the web importer. And then it is asking you to sign in. So you sign in. It's a little bit slow today because yeah. So once you're signed in, it gives you this add button and it gives you the list where to add. So where should I add this? So then I can add this to this particular group. It automatically selects it, or any other group that I wish here. So I have multiple groups here. So I can add this here, and when I put the add button, if I put the add button, now it shows that it has been added as a reference. Okay. And when I go back here into my library and I select the group that I've added, it's there. It should be there. You can also edit this, but let me see why it's not added. So let's go back. So this is the one I chose. So you can also go to the article website and you can try to edit from there also. The PDF, this might not be available. Now it's available now because it came up. So let's add from here. Okay, now it detects that it has a PDF. And let's add it to this particular group. Now it says adding. The PDF did not add. So if the PDF does not get added, the reference is added, you can go and view the PDF. But it's not added to the site, to the library. So let's see whether this is added. Refresh this. Yes, now it's added. Now, unfortunately, you don't have the PDF. So here you have a get PDF button, which you can click and see whether it will get the PDF. If not, you will have to manually add the PDF. Okay, uploading file, it got the PDF 1.7. Now, when it got the PDF, this is where you will read your, this is where you can now read your article. Now, while reading, you can highlight the, you click this button, you get a highlighter, and you can highlight any part of the text and it will get highlighted, right? So this is how you do it. You go through papers and you highlight. And if you have any thoughts on any of these graphs or whatever, you can put a note here and you can type your comment. Wherever you go, you can do it at your home computer. And then when you come back to the university, you can access this from the university. You can access it from your phone. So all your notes and highlighted papers are here. Okay. And this is evidence that you have gone through the paper. Right? So unless you present this evidence, now how do you present this evidence is you have to find, after reading this, you have to make notes in your engineering notebook about what you found out in the papers. So you have to make your notes on the engineering notebook. At least you have to work on your project 2 hours a day, right? 2 hours a day is not enough. We calculated that. That boils down to 15 weeks and 30 weeks. And if it is like 52 weeks, 1 year, 52 weeks, 2 hours a day will come up to 14 times 52. Right? So that's about 520, and then 4 times 52, that's 200. That's about 700 hours. So that is the normal amount that you have to work towards this particular course. So target 2 hours a day to work on the project. So 2 hours a day, you sit down and go through the papers, make notes, and transfer that to the engineering notebook. Now, in the engineering notebook, it's best you write by hand, right? The engineering notebook has to be written by hand, because then only you will understand what you are writing. Otherwise, if you are just copy pasting, you are writing without, I mean, you are just not understanding it. Making aragena select karla copy karla paste කරපුවාම ඒක ඕනෙක් කෙනෙකුට කරන්න පුළුවන්. තේරුම් ගන්න නැතුවත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. So main goal is to understand what is in the paper and then put it there. So if you don't understand, then you can use AI to simplify it and then understand it. You can do multiple things for understanding, not for copying. Copying should not be the key. You can copy certain paragraphs and put it into AI and ask, what does this mean? Or give me background information. I don't understand this particular concept. Can you explain? That type of a thing you can do with AI. But you can't just copy paste stuff, because you can, but at the end of the day, you won't have understood. Key thing is to understand the problem and the solutions that are already available. So make sure that you use these tools. And once you have highlighted this, when you go back to Mendeley, I mean, when the supervisor goes back, then the supervisor can, see what you have done also, right? And when you make notes also, that notes, everything can be seen by the supervisor, because he is now part of the group that you have created. So it is up to you and the supervisor to either follow this or not, but this is how I do it with my students. Those who came to meet me, I told them to do this. and hopefully the others are participating here. So if you are participating, then you have to make a group and then add me as a member of the group. Not other students, only the students, 7 students that I'm supervising. All the rest you should add your supervisor and then share what you are reading. And then I am going to, as a supervisor, will check when you submit the proposal whether the references you have put there in the proposal are in Mendeley. මෙතන නැති reference එකක් එතකොට ඔයාලට දාන්න බෑ. Why? Because you have not read that reference. So the references, I can get the list from here, right? This list I can get, and even you can click these 2 references, right? You click these 2 and then you can copy as or export citation. So the Microsoft Word, RIS or BibTeX, you have to go through this and see how you can do it, or you can just copy formatted citation. So if you copy formatted citation, then you can copy this in the notepad. The citations come up automatically, but these citations are not in the IEEE format. So you have to organize the content here to be in the IEEE format, because we require you to have this IEEE format, right? So this the easiest way to get the citations is to add the paper and get it from Mendeley. So you get the nice citation format of the paper from the Mendeley, right? So I will just see in my students, I will check whether this particular paper is it in the library of the group and whether the citations are generated by the group. If not, then I will not sign the proposal. Okay. So because I can't approve work that is not done or copied. And at the progress review, what we are looking at is evidence of work done. So whether you have done the work or not will be the one. You can't say I have done the work without doing the work. So engineering notebook will be checked by the supervisor, and evaluation will be checked and signed by the supervisor only if the engineering notebook is there. Evaluation will not be signed without the engineering notebook. Engineering notebook should follow the format given, but you don't have to take a printout, or you don't have to, draw the checkered ones, but that particular format, date, topic, and what you have done, you have to elaborate. Not what you have done. Basically, it's a notebook of what you went through during the week. When you are working 2 hours a week and reading papers and all of that, you can't keep everything in your mind. So you have to write it somewhere. So you have to write them down and organize your thoughts, basically. The work engineering notebook is a method to sort of organize your thoughts and guide your project. And the supervisor should be able to read the engineering notebook and understand what you did and how you thought about the problem. ඕගොල්ලෝ කරපු දේ සහ ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතපු දේ අපිට කියවන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ, කියවලා තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ notebook එකේ. That is the main purpose of the notebook. So this is a 800-hour course. So target to work at least 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks per year. And then if you do that, you will come out with an excellent project, right? මේක හරියට මේවා කරලා කරොත් එහෙම මේකෙන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ සෑහෙන දෙයක් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා, සෑහෙන හොඳ project එකක් එළියට ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ project එකම showcase කරන්න පුළුවන්. You can showcase it to your employer, and they will be impressed that you have done the work. Project එක නිකන් යාන්තම් පාස් වෙන්න කරන එකක් නෙමෙයි කරන්න ඕනේ. You have to do the project at your best. Okay, so if you don't have a meeting or a progress review or no evidence of work is submitted to the supervisor, then 0 marks instantly. Also without the notebook, it's 0 marks. And we will sort of go through and see how the marks are given randomly, but not all, but we will see. Then that is the main purpose of the engineering notebook and the progress review and the evaluation. Proposal, you have to go through the format, and literature review is not listing of papers. The literature review kila paper 10ක summary chat GPT වලින් generate කරලා දාන්න නෙමෙයි literature review එක තියෙන්නේ. Literature reviews should be after you go through this process, what you understood, and you say, okay, this problem is like this. Certain solutions have been proposed. this the solution proposed that so and so will have has these advantages, but it doesn't solve this. However, the proposed solution by another person in this paper has done this, and this you go through like compare and contrasting of all of that, and then you say, okay, why your project and the project objectives are relevant, or why they are valuable to pursue for a year and do the project. Why doing this project? The basic the basic purpose of the proposal is to make a case for doing the project. මේ project එක කරන්න ඕන ඇයි කියන එක හේතු ගන්නන්න තමයි proposal එක තියෙන්නේ. Right? For nothing else. Proposals ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් ලියලා තියෙනවා. You have written proposals for I think project in technology 1 and 2 you have written proposals, no? So this should not be a new thing, but the format is different. And another thing of the project is it is a self-learning experience. මේක තනියම ඉගෙනගෙන කරන experience එක. දැන් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මගේ projects වල දෙන දීලා තියෙන දේවල් මම කරන්න දන්නෙත් නැහැ. Right? Because I know the basic science and the technology that is used, but I have not used a specific tool or a software or whatever that is that they are using. But it is the student who is doing the project, and I will give them resources to go and learn by themselves. It can be a video course, or it can be a manual or a book. They have to go through and learn the thing and then do the project. Okay, it is the student's responsibility. Project එක තනිකරම student ගේ responsibility එක, ඒක supervisor ගේ responsibility එක නෙමෙයි. Supervisor is there for an accountability partner. Supervisor ඉන්නේ accountable කරන්න ඔයාව. අර අම්මා තාත්තා වගේ දැන් මේ වැඩේ කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා මේ වැඩේ කරලා තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය හරිද වැරදිද මේ කරලා තියෙන එක for guidance and facilitation, right? So when you are stuck, how to move around. මොකක් හරි problem එකක ඇලිලා ඉන්නවා නම් එතනින් ඒක ගැලවෙන්නේ කොහොමද? ඒක problem එක solve කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් මොනවද? ඒ වගේ guidance එකක් ගන්න, and to have discussions. So when you have a meeting and you can have a discussion with the supervisor, lots of problems are solved through discussion. So discuss කරද්දි නිකන් ඉඳගෙන හිතනවට වඩා discuss කරද්දි තමයි problems solve වෙන්නේ. So have discussions and solve. You have to have a protocol with the supervisor to either to call him when you have a problem like that, or send an email or a WhatsApp message and ask for a meeting and discuss. So this has to be a mutual thing. Supervisor ඉන්නේ නිකන් පැත්තකට වෙලා ඉඳලා අවුරුද්දාන්තෙම අක්ෂර ගහන්න නෙමෙයි. Right? That is not the job of the supervisor. And it is not the responsibility of the supervisor to come behind you. ඔයා කරාද මේක කරාද දැන් කරාද ඇයි මේක කරලා නැත්තේ? ඒක කරන්නත් නෙමෙයි supervisor ඉන්නේ. So if you don't come and meet the supervisor, then it's not the supervisor's responsibility to go after you. What the supervisor can do is say that you have not come and met him, right? So at the end of the day, it is the entire responsibility of the student, because this is a self-learning course. එතකොට මේකේ වැඩ ටික කරන්න ඕනේ ඔයා, supervisor නෙමෙයි. මේකේ අපි ගන්න කියන්නේ proactive. You have to be proactive. Proactive means you don't wait until the supervisor tells you to do something. ඔයාට මේක කරන්න කියනකන් ඉන්නේ මේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කරන්නේ I had this problem, I followed this particular avenue, and this particular avenue. මේ වගේ pathways කීපයක් මම follow කරලා බැලුවා. මට ඒ උනාට එන්න පුළුවන් වෙච්ච solutions මේවා. ඒකෙන් හොඳ මොකක්ද? සහ එහෙම නැත්නම් මම වෙන මොන හරි කරන්න ඕනද කියලා අන්න එහෙම discussion එකකට තමයි supervisor එක්ක එන්න ඕනේ. Right? Not that මම මේක කරන්න බැලුවා සර් කරන්න බෑ. ඒක තමයි අතෑරියා. සර් එක්ක කතා කරනකන් හිටියා. That is not so madam එක කතා කරනකන් හිටියා. Madam මොන හරි කියනකන් හිටියා. That is not proactive. That is inactivity. Right? There are no activity present. Right? For some students didn't even select a topic. So I had to go behind and ask, are you not selecting a topic? So if you are not proactive, we can't help you because we are not meeting deadlines. That's another thing. If you don't submit there is no extension of cutoffs. If you don't submit the progress review, that is a 0 mark. Right? So if you on the let's say we have the submission on the 21st or something, there is no extension. There is no, if it is not on the 21st, then 0. Ek cutoff date එක 21st ma thamai. Right? We will follow hard deadlines this time, and if you don't submit, 0 marks for everything. there will be no extensions of deadline because we are starting the project very early. We have given you topics. We are holding the proposal very early, and therefore there will be no excuses to extend any of these dates. Date extensions will not be entertained at all for any reason. It is up to the student to manage it. Okay. Api extensions ta mukut denne meta para. So we will have the vivas and the submissions at the expected date, and then we will grade them. So that is all I had to say. A very short meeting I wanted to take. Any questions that you have regarding this? මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද මෙතන මේ solve වෙච්ච නැති? Hopefully you know what to do.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, may I know how to add our supervisor to Mendeley?
Yes. So you go to, let me, can you see the share? Is it available? Share yes. So you go to this particular section groups, and you have to create a group. I'm not sure whether I can create a group because I have so many groups. The free account only allows you to create 1 or 2 groups. So so let's say silicon carbide, the project, if I make the group there. So I make this group. Can you all see this? Nirasha, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then these 3 dots here, you go click these 3 dots with next to the group name, and you go to manage group. Thanks for reminding me that, and I forgot to tell you. And then you have invite members here. You can invite up to 25 members into the group. So you click invite member and type their email address, and you do send invite. And then they can be added to the group. They can accept the invite. The moment they accept the invite from the email, they'll be added to the group. And that group will appear in their Mendeley account. Okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
So you go here, make a group, then go here and manage group. That's it. It's very simple.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks for asking that, because I forgot to mention that. Some references I read, there are no author, whether it has no date as well. I got them from Google Scholar. Archive.org, kind of references should I don't know. So especially archive has papers that are not peer reviewed. That means they have not been checked. Anyone can submit to archive. No one checks whether they are correct or wrong. So unless it has if the paper has been published, then it's better. So how the publications happen is that if I go to my archive account, I have papers that I have not published and published. Both I have. Right? Let me see. So you have to check the record in the archive. It's not going in. Here you go. So if you go and check the record in the archive, so I have these papers that I have submitted. So these 2 are not published, and let's say this one is published. So with the unpublished one, there's only the archive account, like cite as archive here. There you see only archive. But with the published one, there's a related DOI, or the journal reference is given. See, if a journal reference is given, then it has been published. So then when normally we do is we revise the paper in archive. So you can see version 1 here, version 2. They have 7 versions of this paper that has gone through. After submitting to the journal, they ask you to change the paper. 7 times the paper has been changed after submission. And each change has been submitted to archive, and then through archive only I have submitted to the journal. So all the changes have been recorded here, which means the paper has improved from where it was to when it was published. So better to use papers like that are published. rather than on that papers with no author or no journal or whatever. Then we don't know who put that paper, whether it is valid or not. So you can't cite them, don't cite papers like that. So in Google Scholar, let me see, where is Google Scholar? Okay, here I think. So we go to Google Scholar. Scholar also has cited by thing here. So in the cited by, you see 3 citations or whatever, right? So mostly when you have increased citations, that means it's a good paper because many have used it, right? So you can ask to sort by relevance, date, review article site. Yeah, relevance, I think, no, you can't ask it to select by citations. Number of citations you cannot. Also from here also you can cite. You can, if you want to copy the citation, you can get the citation from here. But this is also not giving you the IEEE citation that we are requiring. It gives you the APA or the MLA. You can copy this and then organize it as IEEE citation. Yeah, so the citations number will give you the quality of the paper also, because it's citations, and it gives you how when it was cited. So 2023, 2024, 2025, the citations have been done. And so when the citation has been done, you can also go and check what they have done in that particular paper. May paper එක අරගෙන කරලා තියෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලාත් බලන්න පුළුවන්. So things like that you have to go and look at before selecting and reading papers. Number one is whether your keywords are there and whether the research is relevant. So you can do that by looking at the abstract. So when you're reading a paper, you have so initially you go to the paper site and it gives you the abstract, and it gives you a graphical abstract also, right? So you can read this abstract and see whether this is relevant. Okay. Now, when you have installed the web importer, the view PDF button will also come here, right? And then you can go into the paper. The introduction is generally the literature survey. So you see a lot of references in the introduction, right? And section 2 is methods. So what are the methods they have used to do the project? And then you have experimental procedure, and then you have results. Basically, what is the method used, and what are the results that they got, and then results and analysis of results. Then you have this one as experimental verification because it's a model. And then discussion means then you discuss the results. This is a verification and validation, whether the results are valid and what improvements can be made. And finally, you have a conclusion section. So in the conclusion section, the main conclusions are listed like this. So you can look at what they found from the paper. After doing that, what ultimately they can say from their research. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ research එකෙන් අන්තිමටම කියන්න පුළුවන් මොනවද කියන එක මේ conclusion එකේ තියෙනවා. So immediately you can probably read the abstract, right? You don't have to read the word to word. You can read the abstract. You can even skip the introduction, or you can look at the last paragraph of the introduction. You might not understand it because they are using certain terms here which they describe in the above. But if you look at this last paragraph, they say what they are going to do, right? In this study, we address the topic of correlation between microstructure properties for a model and propose a deep learning framework that can accurately predict the mechanical property and phenomenon. This is what they're doing. So you can read this, and if this is too technical, you can ask an AI to simplify, right? Like in my case, I can just copy this. And if you are using AI to simplify, you have to say who you are, right? So let's see whether this will work. So I have the AI app here so that I don't have to go to another site. So I can say simplify the following such to be understood by a, undergraduate in engineering technology with medium language skills and whose mother tongue or whose first language and English is his second language killer. English is second language. So you tell the little bit of the context of who you are, and then you paste this, and then you send. Let's see whether he'll do it. Okay, then he sort of give you an output of that paragraph. This is what you should aim for. Then it says, okay, in this study, we look how the small structure, instead of microstructure, it says small structure. Inside an alloy, a type of aluminium, affects its strength and how it resists corrosion. We use special pictures of metal surface to teach deep learning. And so this is now much simpler and easier to understand than the original paragraph, right? So you can, if you want to make it much more simple, you can simplify further to be understood by a grade 10 student, grade 10 foreign student. You can just type the foreign keyword to say it's in second language, foreign student. So then it will further simplify it. Okay. So tiny parts inside aluminum alloy affect how strong it is and how it can get rusty. So it further simplifies the language. So this is how you should use AI. Key thing is you use AI to understand and not to replace you. You use AI to make the work easier and to make the work faster. That is all you use AI for. It's not to replace you. If it replaces you, then you won't have a job, right? So make sure that you are not replaced by AI. Okay. Any other questions? So once you, okay, what I wanted to say was once you look at the the last para, you get an idea of what the project they are going to do. And then you can go immediately to the conclusion and see what they found out after that. So you go to the conclusion and you see this and you have to understand what they found out. And you can do the same with this. You can copy this up and ask it to be correlated to that final paragraph in relation to the final para of the introduction. Relate how they found out was good or bad. And the limitations of their findings you can ask and they will tell you. But then the methods and the results and the details you have to go through the same way to understand. Okay. Key thing is reading the first paper will be hard because you have not done this probably in this particular technique. මේ විදිහට කරලා නැති ඉඳ පළවෙනි පේපර් එක කියන එක අනිවාර්යෙන් අමාරුයි. අර මුහුදේ පීනන්න යනකොට රල්ල ගහද්දි මුහුදට යන එක අමාරු වගේ පළවෙනි පේපර් එක කියවන එක අමාරුයි. So read the first paper, get it done, then you have a sense of achievement. එක පේපර් එකක් මෙම හරියට කියවලා හරියට annotate කරලා හරියට notebook එකකට දාගත්තාම you will have a feeling of achievement, a successful feeling. එහෙම කරලා paper 2 3 කියවද්දි මේක සාමාන්‍ය දෙයක් වෙනවා. This will become an easy task to be done once you start doing it. The only thing that most students do is they don't read the first paper correctly. පළවෙනි paper එක හරියට effort එකක් දාලා කියවන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම කියවුනේ නැති වුනහම එක paper එකක්වත් කියවන්න ඉගෙන ගන්නේ නැහැ. Yes, digital sign is okay. You have to send the thing to the supervisor, but this has to be sent before the submission at least one day. නැත්තම් අන්තිම මොහොතේ විනාඩි 5න් යුවා මම supervisor submit කරේ නැහැ කියන එක excuse එකක් නෙමෙයි submission එක නොකරන්න. Right? Supervisor is not responsibility. You are responsible to go after the supervisor and get the signature on time and submit it. Don't give us the excuse that the supervisor didn't sign on time. That is not an excuse that we will entertain. Your responsibility to submit it on time. If you don't submit it, then no marks. Anything else? All right. So I expect you to follow these procedures and we will monitor your progress according to these procedures. Okay. All right. So have a nice holiday, and we'll see your submissions when you do that. Okay. I'll end the meeting, and I'll also post this video for future reference. Yes, the recording, I asked it to be recorded, so I will upload the recording. Yes. Okay. Thank you.